All right. What is going on, everyone, on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. Another live stock market stream right at the beginning of market hours. Bell just rung. I was running a little bit late this morning, so if I sound like I'm catching my breath, I was chasing dogs all around the house, getting them all out of the way and whatnot this morning. But man, what a move overnight, right? So we're up right around 1% so far on the day. If you didn't catch it last night, trade war news, China and the U.S. are talking once again. Definitely regret closing my long position yesterday. We'll talk about my positions and everything here in a minute. I'm not currently in anything. I'm actually looking for an entry point early on here because I feel like today's going to be a pretty volatile session. I think we've got a little bit more room to run up. I think we're at least going to test that high from last night. Maybe we might not, but I think we're at least going to test that high. We're really not too far off from it, only about 3 or 4 points currently, but it looks like we're running a little bit here right out of the gate. You can see we bounced off of this SMA beautifully a couple times. I missed this early on this morning. I didn't wake up till a little bit after 7 a.m. Central. So if I had caught this dip, I definitely would have bought here. We had a beautiful dip also right around 2 to 3 a.m., right as the European market started to open up. Again, if I had caught this, I definitely would have hopped in once we seen that reversal for sure. I might have waited until somewhere right here just to get a little bit of confirmation, get above that SMA, and that's probably what I would have done realistically is waited and then hopped in right around that 29.60 level. But either way, missed out on that little bit of opportunity, but you got to sleep at the end of the day, right? So, but other than that, as you guys know, those of you that tuned in yesterday, I didn't do a live stream yesterday afternoon because we had some doctor's appointments and stuff that I'd forgot about. But as for yesterday, we'll just go over my trades. I actually had one red trade yesterday evening. That's why it shows profit loss for today, quote unquote. It was after 5 o'clock last night, so it's the new trading session. It's showing that we're down a little bit. Again, this isn't ever like exactly right. But as you can see here, I'm lucky that I closed this out when I did. The one time I decided to short the market, I was trying to play both sides. It looked like the market was a little bit overbought at this time. This was around 5:46 p.m. So again, just about half an hour to an hour after market open, after hours trading. That's when the whole moves, all the big moves started to take place. We can go back here. So you can see here, this is kind of where I got out. Actually, not quite. Let me see. Let's go back to that. So we got in at 5:46. We got out at 7:07. So we got in, and again, this is my loser of the week, first loser so far this week. So we got in right around, let me see, about right in this range here. You can't hardly see because we've had such big movements. But let's see, 5:46. So we got in right around here. I wasn't going based off the 1 minute. I believe I was going based off the 15-minute and 5-minute chart at that time. Which they looked a little bit like there was some downside selling coming, which there was. I had a chance to cover roughly like a 2-point or 3-point profit at one point, but I thought this thing was going to pull back to like 29.35, which at that point I was going to plan on going long. Obviously, that did not happen. I sold at, 7:07, something like that. Let's pull it up here. Yeah, 7:07. So as you can see, I was quick. When that pump started, I was quick to go ahead and cut the losses before it just continued to run up on me. I was trying to get closed like right in here, but for some reason I had set my sell like one whole point lower than what I thought I did. So I was sitting there for like a minute wondering. I was like, why the hell is this not getting filled? And then I'd look back at it because obviously I'm going back and forth between Tastyworks and Thinkorswim. And when I went back and looked, I was like, oh my God, my limit that I want to get filled at is a point too low. That's why I didn't get filled. So it ran up another point or two. In that time, I was sitting there trying to figure that out. So I lost. I was planning on cutting the loss at like $7.50, which would have been about a 1.5 point loss, something like that. But ended up being like a $15 to $20 loss after fees and commissions. So losses are part of the game, of course. Still green overall on the day. We can look at my other trade as well from yesterday. Let's see here. Where was that at? So we got in. Let's see. What day are we at? 9:03. This is not showing my trade. Let's see. That's not showing my trade for some reason. That is weird. Well, we did have a trade yesterday from, if you go back to the previous stream, we got in right around 29, 25, 25. I could even pull it up in Discord, but that's doing the most. We have a lot of chat going on in there. But we got in at 29, 25, 25 to be exact. So I remember it was like hard to say. I even said it on the stream. You guys actually seen it, I think, whenever we got in. Like I said, it was around 29, 25, 25. We held it throughout the day. I ended up selling it at like 29, 33, 25 or 29, 32, 25. So either way, like a 7 to 8 point gain overall. All I know is it was pretty much like a $40 profit. So yeah, that'd be an 8 point gain. So that, after fees and commissions, was about $37, $38 of profit. So after that loss, we were up about like $20 or something like that yesterday. But yeah, now all we're doing is looking for an entry point, looking for the market to either go ahead and test that 29.72 level or give us a pullback. Either way, lesson of the day for me last night was just I don't do well shorting the market. I probably will not short the market anymore unless if obviously there's just this huge selling pressure where just every bounce is getting rejected, of course. You know those days, right, where the market goes down like 1 to 2% overall and just every little bounce just gets smacked down every time. That'd be the only time ideally I'm going to short anymore, just because I tend to just have better results going long. The market always wants to pull up at the end of the day, so it's like, as long as you get in, like right now, I would not be getting in for obvious reasons, but as long as you get in at a decent level, market's a little bit oversold. I mean, 8 to 9 times out of 10, you're going to make some decent money at the minimum on your position. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Got my fiance's little white girl coffee cup since I didn't do dishes last night. But I have not checked yet. Hopefully our stream is doing all right so far. Looks like we are. We're up and going. But yeah, other than that, I mean, pretty quiet night. Didn't really do a whole lot of trading last night. After that big pop, we were sitting out. So I was watching this. I watched this entire thing play out. And then I was kind of, like, after every little pullback, I regretted not getting in. I was like, okay, pull back a little. Come on, keep pulling back. Because, I mean, just look at your RSI. I mean, stupid overbought. But, I mean, the indicators don't really matter when the market just decides it wants to keep going up at the end of the day. Eventually it pulls back, of course. But, literally, if you just bought the dips, you made quite a bit of money last night. But, I mean, they weren't even dips. They just, I mean, we were talking about 29.62 to like 29.60, 2 point pullback, jump up another 3 to 5 points at a time, and it just kept going. Then it finally topped out right around 29.72, which is kind of confusing in my opinion. I thought that was a pretty weird level for it to kind of top out at. I figured once it got above like 29.70, the next level would be right around that 29.76, 20 at the minimum 29.75. But it's kind of strange that it decided to top out at that level. But anyways. So again, what I'm looking for today is just a slight little pullback. Where the hell did my studies go? My studies got all messed up. TD Ameritrade got butchered last night apparently because all my studies are gone almost. That sucks. Okay, let me go in here and edit these again. I was wondering why TD Ameritrade randomly just completely shut off on my laptop, because I know I didn't close it, but maybe that's why, because they had an error last night. Oh well, it won't take too long to get this straightened back out. So market's up and running this morning, up over 1% now. Let's see here, we have our MACD. I want to get some more of my EMA. I want to get my 34, and my 8. .34 is goldish color. And my 8. That one will be more of a, let's do a green for that one. Apply. Actually, I don't know if I like that green. We'll probably go back to purple for that. Let's just go with that pink color. There we go. That pops out a little bit better. All right. So now everything is back to normal. I don't know what happened there. A lot of my stuff that I'd recently done just kind of disappeared overnight. So overall, very, very bullish movements going on, obviously, up 1%. What I'm looking out for, I want to have some sort of cross on our MACD, see if there's a little bit of a pullback going on before I decide to hop in. I never really like to hop in when like the 5 and 15 minutes, when the MACDs are up and positive, and then obviously we're showing signs of overbought on the 5-minute overall. Just not a good time really to get in, and of course, like I mentioned, I just don't really short the market. Every time I seem to, I either like break even or lose a little bit of money. So, especially on green days, it's just not a good idea to try to place little shorts. Even if you're going to make money on those shorts, you're talking like $10 to $15. It's just not worth the risk, in my opinion. Why would I risk losing upwards of like $20 just to make 10, 15? It's just not smart, in my opinion. Take a look at the broader markets. So, oil, shocking the hell out of me right now. It was up over 57 at one point. I'm wondering if it's kind of popping up overall just because like the overall worldwide markets are going up right now. That could be the case. But definitely want to watch oil here because it is getting close, very close to those levels. Where we've gotten rejected time and time again. Like I said, I'm still in the camp where I believe anything above like 55 to 56 is short territory. But if this thing can break out above 57 and hold above 57 today, then we might see a short little breakout within oil sectors, and then oil specifically. So that's something to keep an eye on. I don't think it's going to stay above 57. It's already back down to 56.78. So, I mean, it might have finally had its last little hurrah before going back down. But it definitely surprised me to see that back over 57 a little bit ago. So, that is an interesting development. So, here we go. Wow, apparently we just popped up over, just made a new high of the session. And what I tend to notice, guys, is whenever we have a wick like this, we might get a little pullback, but I would not be surprised if we fill it up and continue to run up here. I just hate chasing it like that. Like when all signs are pointing towards that we're pretty overbought, I just hate getting in. I don't trust it. You can see we're up to 77 now on our RSI on the 5-minute, 15-minute, still around 68. So, I mean, I guess technically we got a little bit more room to run. It's just what I tend to notice. I mean, we had similar movements last night as well. Let's see. Let's go to whenever we had that big pop. So you can see here we had a wick, almost as a little indicator. It's like almost a little warning sign, like, hey, we're about to run up. Or same thing on the downside. We usually have that long instant drop, and then it pulls up really quick, and then a lot of times we trickle down from there. Kind of the same story here. You can see long wick, pull back for just a few, actually a little bit longer than usual when this happens, but pull back for about 10 to 20 minutes, and then boom, we just took off from there. Let's see if it happened in this area. Didn't really happen here, but I mean, it seems to happen a lot. It's a common theme that I see every time we're going to have some big move to the up or down side. And it's usually caused by like a sudden rush in volume too. Yeah. See, our volume right here on that 1 minute was 5,043. The minute before that was only about 1,200. So and this is something I actually wanted to talk about too. I don't know how many of you all are tuning in currently. Got one of you in here right now. But just for anyone that sees this either after it uploads or if you hop into the stream while I'm talking about it, I wanted to just kind of hit on the fact that, like, yeah, day trading the futures, it's good and all. Like, I think whenever it comes to like the E-mini, day trading futures is by far like amazing, blah, 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 blah. With the micro, I'm almost in the camp after like doing the paper trading with it for about 2 months, 2.5 months, and then now using my own money. I mean, yeah, I'm still up good overall. I mean, I'm up, about $140, $144. Pretty much this week because I was up. For those of you that have been following for a while, you know I was up a little over like $100. I started trading micro futures. To put this in perspective, I started trading them the last week of the month, so around the 26th, 27th. I think it was the 27th when my funds went through. Started trading the micro E-mini futures, and I had about $100 profit these first like 3 days. And then Friday, I pretty much lost all of it. So I ended up $1 on the whole week. Still up, I guess, at the end of the day. But little learning experience, to say the least. But so we pretty much ended the week unchanged, up $1. Like I said, we started with $800. I had $801 and some change to start the week. So I'm pretty much up 140, 144 this week so far. So, I mean, we're doing fine and all. But from what I noticed with the micro, and I mean, I guess you could apply this to the actual E-mini too, but with the micro, it almost pays to kind of set yourself up for more of a swing trade, just based on how the market's been moving. Like, for example, I was sitting there kicking myself for getting out of my position. I mean, obviously taking profits off the table, there's never issue with that. I'm just saying you might want to consider, especially if you're trading those micro E-mini futures, you might want to consider more of a swing trading style. Obviously, when the market is super volatile like we had last month where it was just up 1%, down 2%, up 0.5%, down a quarter, up 1, like just big 0.5% to 2% moves on a daily basis. I think they said last month we had like 15 to 20 1% move days in August, which means almost every day we had like a 1% move. I mean, that's an exhausting month. So, I mean, it's situation by situation, of course. But, I mean, like, if I had held my position, for example, around that 29.25 level, I mean, I'd be up about 50 points right now, which is $250, versus trying to day trade it, I ended up only gaining about $30 after my loss overnight. So, I mean, when it comes to going long, I mean, I think you can never ultimately go wrong until we go into a recession. You're never really going to lose a whole lot of money going long because the market always wants to pull itself up at the end of the day. But it's just something to think about. How's it going, Luis? So like I said, this isn't surprising me one bit. I probably should have hopped in. Anytime we have these long wicks, it always seems we end up filling it and then going through it. So I would not be surprised here if we go and retest, if we go up to that 29.77 level here in the next couple minutes. You're in the MNQ. Yeah, I wish I had stayed in MES. That's kind of what I was talking about, because I had that position at 29, 25, 25. So I'd be up literally like 50 points right now if I just simply held my long. I think part of it too is the September 19th starting to get a little bit, I wouldn't say scary, but something you definitely have to consider. I mean, we're literally 2 weeks away from the expiration. Here in the next week, most traders are going to start rolling into those December contracts, but it's kind of hard to want to swing trade the futures. There we go. So watch, we're probably going to run up to 29.77 here. And that's the thing too, is like, it's just hard. You can't predict that at the end of the day. I mean, I did because I saw that wick. I called it out. I said we're probably going to at least fill up to that and probably test 29.77. Why I didn't decide to hop in at 29.70 when we pulled back a little, beyond me. I think it's just because I'm not used to this type of trading. I don't usually catch these moves in live action other than when it happens overnight. And as you all can tell, when it happens overnight, I mean, if you miss it, you just miss it. I mean, it happens quick. So definitely some different trading styles you have to apply for day trading versus like the overnight trading. For overnight trading, if you're interested in overnight trading, I mean, just what I've noticed, what's worked for me on almost every instance is just simply wait for the RSI to show oversold and then just hop in, ride it out for about an hour, and you'll make some good money. I mean, you don't usually get like huge moves like this necessarily, but you do often. This was like when the news started breaking about the whole Chinese stuff. But just going to zoom out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if you just wait for the RSI to show oversold on the minute chart on overnight trading, hop in. Like I said, ride it out for about an hour. Usually you'll make some decent profits. Minimum usually of about 5 points. That's what I tend to usually get, is somewhere around like 4 to 5 points. And that's because I'm the type where I hop out way too soon usually. Like once I start seeing any resistance, I'm out. Like I don't sit there and mess around. I take my profit and I move on. Same thing with losses. If I start to see, like last night's trade that started going against me, once I seen the boom were popping up, I went ahead and cut that super quick. It would have been a lot quicker, but like I said, user error affected that trade. I thought I had my limit set at the right level, but I had it 1 point below. So that didn't get filled, and it ended up costing me like another $10, another 2 points, but that's my own fault. So we're officially back in overbought territory. Like I said, I'm kind of just sitting out right now. You guys know that I'm not the type to really try to chase the market. I will say I think overall today could be obviously over 1, but probably a 1 to 2% up day. We're up about 1.25%. Would not surprise me at all to see the market. If we break through that 29.76, 77 level, let's get this zoomed in right here. If we break through this level, guys, I mean, this is a very important level, right around 29.75 to 29.77. If we break through this level, we're probably going to 3,000 after that. It would not say, and we could do that as early as today. I don't think we're probably going to do that today, but it wouldn't surprise me at the same time. I think overall, we're due for some sort of a little pullback. Probably not today, but I mean, the Dow, S&P, I think they've each been up 4 out of the last 5 or 5 out of the last 6 trading sessions now. We've had a hell of a run. We're finally out of this horrible trading range that we've been in for the last month or so. But I will say that I think before we hit 3,000, we're going to pull back a little bit. I think we're probably going to get rejected right around that 29.77. Probably pull back a little. We might even have a red day tomorrow, but I think we at least get rejected right around this level once or twice, because I mean it's a pretty big level, key area here. If we break through this level, then it's on up to 3,000 and possibly new all-time highs after that. So you don't want to fight it at the end of the day. Like I said, I would not be shorting. I don't really do shorting unless if we're just having a blood in the streets type of day where, like I said, every pop just gets smacked like whack-a-mole. Every time it tries to pop up, it gets hit by another 0.5%. But, yeah, I mean, I would not be shorting this market for sure. So it's probably going to be a while before I get in on a position, but and I think for a lot of people that swing trading the futures would actually be the best way to go, because I know there's a lot of you. I mean, we've all got jobs and whatnot at the end of the day, but if like you just have a stupid busy job where you just have no time to mess with the markets hardly, you need to be able to just come in, look at the chart here and there once or twice a day maybe, and just look at the overall broader picture. I think you can make possibly more money than people that day trade the futures, because like I was mentioning, I mean, if like me, for example, if I just held my position, say I was so busy that I just ended up holding my position, I mean, like right now, I'd literally be up 50 points, just over about 50 points, because I got in at 29, 25, 25. So, I mean, I would have been up 50 points right now, $250 versus me day trading it. I mean, I made 40, so I mean, good. It's always good to profit, right? I made 40, but then by trying to day trade and catch the short side, I lost about 20 bucks after fees and commissions. So I only made about 20 or $30 yesterday. Whereas if I was more of a swing trader, just took a step back and took a look at the overall broader view, I would have known, hey, we're probably going to run up for a little. Obviously, you can't predict like a 1% to 2% move in the market. I'm not saying that at all. But if I just took a step back and looked, I would have been like, okay, 15-minute, starting to get near oversold, which is pretty damn close to where we hopped in that position, actually, almost dead on. But if I would have done that, here we go, new high. And we broke through that 29.77 level, actually. So we'll see what happens now. But I'm just saying, I think swing traders, you can make some really good money on the micros, as well as the E-mini. I mean, E-mini will make even more. 50-point move on the E-mini, that's $5,000, if I'm right. No, not $5,000. Sorry about that. $2,500. It's 50 points. $50 per point, not $100. But still, $2,500 in one day. I mean, that's, again, you can't predict that. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm not trying to talk about FOMO or anything like that. But I'm just saying, don't feel like you have to day trade the futures. Don't feel like you have to day trade at all. If you are good at reading the technicals, taking a step back, and looking at the overall broader view, then I mean, you can make a lot of money. Like, if you literally bought in, like, you guys know I love the 20-hour chart, which is also why I feel like we're probably going to end up pulling back a little bit here in the next trading session or two, is because usually every time we get a little bit overbought, we tend to have a day or so of selling. Obviously, take into consideration we were in a tight trading range for like the last month, so kind of take this chart specifically with a grain of salt. But overall, whenever our 1 hour chart starts to get overextended or oversold, we tend to see a good reversal for a period of 1 to 2 trading sessions minimum, usually. And like I said, this 29.77 area, pretty critical level. We did break it, but we're back below it, right around it. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. All I'm saying is you could literally swing trade this. Obviously, you're never going to pick the exact low, but say if you got in here right around 28.34 and you just held, say you even sold up here, you didn't even catch the high, say you just sold up in this area, 29.34 to say, or was that 28.34? 28.34 to say 29.34. That's 100 points. If you're trading the E-mini, 100 points, that's $5,000. On the E-mini, micro E-mini, that is still what, like $500 of profit in a period of roughly, 5 days. So, $100 a day. So, my whole point here is I just want everyone that is like new or they're wanting to maybe experiment with like micro E-minis or E-mini or futures in general, but they feel like, well, I don't have the time to day trade, I have a full-time job, You don't have to day trade these. You can make a lot of money day trading them, but in some cases you can make more by swing trading them. So don't feel like just because you have a job, 2 jobs, whatever the case may be, you're not, pretty much you cannot be too busy for the market. I mean, all it takes is a couple minutes sitting down, taking a look at this like 4-hour chart, taking a look at the 1 hour. Like right now, I would not be suggesting anyone to hop in for a swing trade right now. Of course, I mean, we're at the highs of the last month. We're finally breaking out of this trading session. We're up on really good, or I wouldn't even say really good news. We've heard this story time and time again, right? So we're up on news essentially, and we're starting to approach signs of overbought on almost every indicator. So I could go on and on, but I'm just saying you don't have to day trade these to make money. You can definitely swing trade them and make good money too. TLT's dropping. Let's see. Let's take a. Yeah, I saw gold was getting smacked. I think it was pretty hard. Yeah, gold's down almost 2% now. I think gold's going back to 1,500. Calling that out now. First one to call that. Like we said, I think it was a day or two ago, actually, wasn't it, Luis? We brought up, or was it yesterday? Said that 1560 level. Look, we got up to 1566. Bam, smack. Obviously, you got to take it with a grain of salt. That's with all the news that's been going on. But still, that critical 1560 level got smacked down. I think it's going back to 1500. Probably going to find a little bit of support at that 1530 level short term, but I think it's going back down to 1500. Bonds, yeah, getting smacked as well. The TLT back down to 145. Honestly, that's another thing that I think should keep dropping. It's had a huge run, of course. I think it's going to fill the gap at least to 142. We might even see it retest the SMA around 140 to 141 in the coming weeks. What else? What else is there? I wonder how silver's doing. Was that SLV? I forget. This is just the iTrust of silver. Also down 3%. I think that's also going to come back down. I think it's going down to at least 17. Pull down to that 34 EMA. If it breaks 17, probably going back to 16 where it truly belongs, in my opinion. So if you've been riding that silver gold run, hopefully you got out. I don't know how to say it without saying that the run's over, but it is. At least short term, it's over. Oil, again, we're up near that 57 resistance. Like I said, I was surprised when I seen it popped over 57 briefly. I still think it's going down from here. I mean, the descending pattern still intact for sure. This is just a quick sketch. I'm not like trying to be 100% or anything with this, but zoom in here. However, like I said, I mentioned this a few minutes ago. If it gets above 57 and holds, then yes, I think we're short-term bullish. I think we might get a short-term run up to like 59, but we're still below it as of now. So we'll see how it ends on the day. I think today, tomorrow are critical days for oil, but ultimately, I do think it's going to end up pulling back down, but we'll see what happens. Look at that 20-day chart. Yeah, so we're pretty close to breaking out there, but we'll keep an eye on it. Actually, I'm going to set some alerts because I want to know when this thing goes over. I'm going to set alert for like 57.10. That way we'll be notified, and I want to be notified too if it gets near that 55 level. I'll say 55.25. All right, so we'll see what happens with that. And then back to the overall markets. So as you can see, we broke that 29.77 critical level. Now it's looking like we're trying to use it as a support. That'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out. But man, it just seems like this is about like what happened to me last night. I mean, we're having the same type of run up that we had last night, and I just kind of sat there and watched. I was like just waiting for some type of a pullback, and then we never got it. And then we just kind of leveled out. But then overnight we did have a pullback, and I almost set a limit to buy overnight at 29.50. I don't think it would have got filled. Let me see. It might have. No, I think 29.50 was the low. But I almost set a buy limit of like 29.50 just to see if we'd pull back and test that as a support, which we bounced what looks like a little bit above it. But that would have been amazing if I had gotten filled on that one, if I had done that. But I didn't, so. So the Dow is now up like 420, 425. Dow's up almost 1.75%. Get that pulled up there. That's ES. Where's my Dow? I guess I took Dow off. What is it? MYM. That's the micro. So it's up 406. It's pulled back a little bit from the high of the morning. Oh, you got some calls on SPY and puts on TLT. You're making some money today. Yeah, actually, I want to get that pulled up because that's another thing. I haven't been on Robinhood in forever. I don't even know if I'm signed in still. Oh, it did sign me in still. What notifications do I have? Oh, okay. Let's pull up S-Orts right here, actually. Let's just take a look at these options prices, which you guys know I don't trade options anymore. But, like, look at that. The ones that are expiring tomorrow, up over 1,300%. Those are what you call lottos, though. I mean, they're... Like, people were buying these essentially. I want you guys to keep that in mind. People were buying these literally as like lottery tickets. That's literally what they refer to them as. You get them for like $5, 10 at the most usually. And as you can see, I mean, yeah, you're cashing out pretty good. You turn $10 into, or 5 in this case, since it's up 55 and it's at 60. So you turn $5 into 60, good and all, but it's not really. That's not a good trading, and this is what I wanted to talk about too, with like futures versus options. Honestly, the safest way to like play options is usually go out roughly a month, and again, to do this, you're talking usually $200 to $400 for the quote unquote safer options, upwards of $600. I mean, if you're going to be playing with $300 to $600 on some longer term options that are a little bit more safe, and I mean, you can see that these are, well, this isn't going to be right exactly. It's probably because there's no volume, not a lot of volume on them right now. Let's go like September 30th. Okay, so I mean, as you can see, these are not quite a month out, 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. You can see, I mean, there's still great returns on them. You're talking upwards of 100% returns, but all it takes is for the market to drop 1% and you lose all that at the same time. And actually, when you lose, you're actually losing more because you have theta, everything else working against you. I traded SPY options for a while. I mean, I made good money doing it, but I also lost a lot of money doing it as well. The ones that I lost money the most on were the ones that were weeklies. If you play options a smart way, where you're going out a month, 4 weeks usually, 3 to 4 weeks minimum, you can definitely make some good money. It's just, in my opinion, if I'm going to be playing with this much money, I might as well go to the futures, have a little bit more of a safety net there. I'm not worried about Greeks. I'm not worried about a 1% move causing my investment to drop as much as 100%. Could go up as much as 100% too, of course. I mean, we could roll out even further. Let's take a look at, like, I know a lot of people do like quarterly options. I mean, let's say we rolled out to October 25th, or not even that. Let's go out further. Let's go out to, like, say, right around end of the year. Let's do December 30th. So you can see those are still up 20%, but look at the price, $1,000 essentially. Because for those of you that don't know a lot about options, all you got to do is whatever dollar amount it says, multiply it times 10, and that's how much it's going to cost you. It's like this one, 957. That's 957. That's 1,020. Like I said, if you're gonna be playing with that much, I'd rather just stick with futures personally. I get why people do it though. I mean, up 23, 25%. That's a good return, but to each their own, I guess. Let's see. See, I haven't really messed with Forex at all. It's a little bit of a different game. A little almost confusing for me. But I heard there's good money in that too. Trading in UT. Futures much better. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I was hinting at. Like I said, I mean, options definitely have their advantages. I mean, where can you go and get? I mean, let's not even do September 6th because that's just stupid to be playing with. But like, where can you go and make 750% on a trade? Like, this is still a lotto here. I mean, this was a $10, $11 trade. Same thing here, about a $15 trade. These are literally lottery plays, essentially. They're just taking $5 to $20, throwing them in there, and just pretty much it's straight up just speculation trading, essentially. I don't like doing that personally. I mean, like I said, it pays off when it does, but it's not worth it in my opinion. Because again, these type of moves, this is with a almost 1.5 now. So we're up to 29.80. Jesus Christ. 3,000 might come today, guys. I didn't think it was really going to be possible in today's trading session, but at this rate, we might. I mean, that's only another 19 points. So we'd be up 61 overall on the day. We've seen days like that before. That'd be what for the Dow Jones? Probably roughly a 600 to 700 point move. I mean, we've had days like that before. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at this rate. But, like I said, I'm just not going to chase it. It's not my type of trading. I'll just stick with what works. But, go back here. But like I said, I mean, you're talking about a 2% move. How often do we get a 1 to 2% move on the market? Not very often. So, like I said, to each their own. Got 3 of you tuning in. Hopefully you all are enjoying the stream so far. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. Hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video. Like I said, I'm not in any positions currently. Wish I literally woke up at about 7:15 Central Time. So I just missed this oversold, which I would have definitely hopped in at 29.60, 29.61. We just keep making new highs of the day. Now up over 60 on the MNQ. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a little salty that I didn't get in this morning. Or if I'd simply just held my position from yesterday, that would have been up over almost 60 points now, which would have been $300 of profit versus $40 that I got. And we were literally discussing in Discord yesterday just how much higher the market could go if we literally got some kind of news headline as simple as China and U.S. trade talks resume. We just brought that up yesterday. And it's the irony of the fact that we got news literally less than 12 hours after that is pretty funny. So this is getting nuts. Dow's up about 500 now, or about 450, I guess. See where everything else is at. I don't know why. See, my shit got all messed up. I did not have these pulled up on my chart. I had MNQ. It's like everything went like 6 months back on my charts. I mean, it got rid of all my studies and everything. What other one did I have here? So we have NYN, MNQ. We have oil pulled up. I forgot what the hell else I had pulled up here. Natural gas has been booming lately. I wonder if anyone followed. Man, come on now. Down a little bit today. But speaking of that, I don't remember if we called this out on a stream or if it was just in Discord, in our Discord group chat. But I said anything around like 12. I don't really like UGAS at 13, but I was like, if we could get UGAS around $12, boom, 1203, like $12 to $13 essentially. Wow, oil's booming. That's probably why the market's going up. Oil might be breaking out here, but I said if we could get UGAS around like $12 to $13, it's probably a good buy because natural gas is going to start running up. So if you got in, awesome. Because if we take a look at natural gas has been on a boom. Like I said, I don't think it's going to go quite up to what I say 3. I said I think 2.5. If I remember right, I think I said 2.5 to like 2.6. Is a definitely realistic target for natural gas, and I mean it's getting up there, getting close. So oil breakout mode, as is the whole market at this point. Wow. Hell, we might hit 3,000 before lunch hour at this rate. I mean, at this rate, I'm just half tempted to get in just to ride it out because this market is showing no signs of stopping right now. Over 100 now in MAQ. Keep rubbing it in. No, I'm just playing. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I knew I should have set my alarm. Like last night, the one night that I did not sit at my laptop, the market decided to go crazy. And same thing this morning. The one morning I decided to oversleep a little bit. Usually I'm up around 6 to 7 a.m. This morning I woke up at almost like 7:20. I just the last 12 hours, I just have not been making good decisions for my trading. This is just insane, man. Just buy one contract. I mean, I gotta get at least a red candle. I mean, come on. Like, look at that. We just been running. Like, at least give me a little red candle here, like 29.84, something. I mean, shit. Look at this. I mean, this is worse than last night. Actually, it's about identical to last night. But Jesus, our RSI's at 80. It's like, how much further can you truthfully go? 15-minute is now. Now, see, that's where I messed up. I should have got in when I saw that our 5 and 15-minute had room to run still on the RSI. That's where I should have got in. I should have got in around 29.70, but I didn't. So, if I literally just got in right there, I would have been up $75 already. But like I said, I'm not used to this type of trading. I'm not going to lie. I'm the type of trader where I just wait for oversold, buy, get my quick little 5-10 point scalp, and move on. I'm not used to this type of running. But that's where I got to trust myself a little bit more. Because, I mean, I called it out yesterday in our Discord group chat. I said, watch, I would not be surprised one bit if the market goes up. I think I said 2 to 3%. That was a bullish call on my end. But I said I would not be surprised if we go up 2 to 3% on the day. 1 to 2% at the minimum. We're up 1.6 right now. One hour, 15 and 5. Yeah. Yeah, in our 1 hour, I mean, it's also ridiculous right now. I mean, just look at everything. DMI at 40. I mean, everything's kind of pointing towards we should be pulling back a little bit at some point, but what should happen and what does happen, as we know, a lot of times does not tend to happen. Our 30-minute on our MACD, we could go a little bit higher still. Same thing with RSI. I mean, we had an RSI of close to 90 early on last night before we finally pulled back. We're at 78 right now. Sometimes technicals just don't matter. Where are we at now? 87 on the 5-minute. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm going to hop in. Too little, too late. I mean, I still think we're going to 3,000 today for sure now. I mean, why not at this rate? I mean, we've blown through every resistance out there. I mean, what would be next now? Let's see, we're at 29.85. I mean, we might have a little resistance. Yeah, at 3,000. So, I mean, there's no reason for it to not run to 3,000 now. Do I have my buy pulled up here? Let's see, trade. Okay, I do have it pulled up, so, I mean, it's ready to go. But, Jesus Christ, man. Hell, we haven't been overbought like this since over a year ago. Gush is up over 10% today. But Gush, like I said, guys, I would not be touching Gush or Drip with a 10-foot pole. So we're getting a pullback here. Hell, should I buy? RSI's cooled off to 68. Man, that's crazy. So we're getting a little bit of a pullback here at last. We pulled back almost 5 points now. Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to. That's what I mentioned a little bit ago. I was like, hell, we might hit 3,000 before lunch hour. I mean, it's we're not even through the first hour of trading yet. Like, this is just crazy. But I do think we're gonna finally start getting our little bit of a pullback. I think we're at least gonna test that 34, which is only 3 points away. I think we're at least gonna test that 34 EMA. I mean, honestly, we should test the SMA before going higher, but our SMA, let me get that pulled up on like a 15-minute chart. No, not on the 15-minute. Let's see, so get this pulled up here. That was yesterday, I don't care about that. So, we didn't come close really to the 5. What we did do though was, I'm just trying to look at our movement compared to last night. So we had a cross. We got a long way to go before our EMAs cross. I don't really see that happening at this point today. Honestly, we should pull back to like 29.70. I want to see that. That's kind of what I'm looking for in all honesty. I want to see 29.70 to 29.77. I mean, that's a huge range. That's 7 points. But like, for example, 29.76, 77 was the resistance. I want to see that kind of act as a support. If that breaks, then I want to see 29.70. But Jesus Christ, I mean, who knows if that's even going to happen at this point. Many pros waiting on a pullback. I'm definitely not a pro. I get what you're saying though. But yeah, I mean, it's just playing the technicals at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, that was an awesome run. Whoever caught it, like I know Luis, you caught it. That's awesome. I definitely wish I did, but I just didn't get my target in. I missed out on it, so it is what it is sometimes. I think, like I said, we're probably going to pull back at least a couple more points here. Honestly, I would like to see it test 29.70. I don't know if it's going to, but I want to see it at least test that 29.76 area. If we bounce off of that, depending on how we look, I might hop in from there. Because, like I said, at this point, I think 3,000's on tap for today. If I get in at, say, 29.76, that's, about 24 points? That's $120 of profit minimum. So, we'll see what happens. You're still holding those options. What are your expirations, by the way? I'm kind of interested to hear that. Like I said, don't make fun of my coffee mug if you all can see that. I haven't done dishes in a day or so, and I'm using my fiance's little white girl Starbucks cup. So let's see, we're finally getting a little bit of a pullback. If the 1 minute goes oversold, I'm definitely hopping in. Doesn't matter. I think this will honestly go oversold if we test that 29.76 level. Let's get this pulled up here. Yeah, I think 29.77, 76 is going to be roughly where we bounce. You can see that 34 is trying to hold right now. It's been holding pretty damn well, actually, all morning. Ever since we got back above it, so around, again, when I should have been awake, we came above it. Again, here's one of those candles right there that I was mentioning this morning. Continue to pop up. We had a good test of the SMA right there. Where's our SMA now? 29.67. I don't think we're going that low. If this breaks, though, we could have a quick drop, but it just I don't feel confident in that happening. How's it going, Tyler? Bought some SPY puts. Short-term expiration. Okay. So, depending on where you bought those, Tyler, you're probably up pretty decent, too, because we've had about a 0.3% pullback here over the last few minutes. I probably honestly should have shorted, and that's one thing I notice is when we have these just huge pops like this, it is a good short opportunity. But that's just not my game. I don't tend to do too well with shorting. So we're starting to get a little bit of... we might get that pullback to around 29.70. We might. I think this 29.77-ish area is going to try to hold. But we might get that drop to 29.70 if this breaks. So if that happens, I'm probably definitely getting in at that point. Because like I said, at this point, there's no reason for the market to go ahead and run up to 3,000 today. Still overbought. 5 minutes starting to cool off at last a little bit here. Even though I'm not in any position right now, unfortunately, still very exciting to watch because I know wherever I decide to end up getting in, it'll probably make some good money today. Because we have officially broken through pretty much every resistance out there. At this rate, we're definitely going to 3,000 here before long. And who knows, at this rate, we might hit new all-time highs within the next week at this rate. And that's where, again, like I mentioned this quite a bit. I'm beating the dead horse at this point. I was mentioning earlier today, Earlier today, we've only been on for about an hour, but God, it feels like we went through a whole trading session, right? As much movement that we've had. But I was mentioning a little bit ago, like guys, for the E-mini, micro mini, any futures for that matter, you do not have to day trade them. I mean, you can make so much money by swing trading. Honestly, I think in a lot of cases you can make more money swing trading. This last week or two is a prime example of that. I mean, for example, we'll go back to this chart here, or not the 5 minute, the 10-day chart. If you literally just bought on the sell-off that we had right around the end of the month, obviously you're never going to time it perfectly, but say you waited for a little bit of confirmation, you got in, say, around like 29.50, for example, when we started breaking out, and you're the type of trader where you're just super busy, you have full-time job, big family, all that, you don't have time to sit here at the computer hours a day, you can only check in maybe once or twice a day. If you literally just bought, took a look at the macro, again, look at the 20-day, look at the 180-day, all that good stuff, and you started to see, man, we are really oversold here, you could have made some pretty big money overall. I mean, again, say you got in at 29.50. Say obviously you didn't plan on the market popping up over to close to 3,000, but you held till around, say, 29.40. I mean, that's a 80 to 100 point profit, which on the micro is what, about $400 to $500, and for the E-mini, the big boy, it's $4,000 to $5,000. If I'm doing my math right. I don't think I'm doing my math right. 100 points. 100 points would be, yeah, 100 points would be $5,000. So, on the E-mini, not the micro. And that's just in, again, like 10 days, 5 to 10 days. So, in some cases, you can make a lot more money just by simply buying the sell-off and holding for a while. Now, obviously, when you're getting closer to expirations like we are right now, you probably want to hold off on that or roll in and go ahead and roll over to the December contracts, which the way you do that is you just go over here, type MES, and then for December, it's with the Z19. So you go over there. You can go ahead and roll in and buy those if you wish. See, this got up to 29.87.5. They're usually going to be pretty close, though, of course. That's just something to keep in mind, too, if you're planning on, like, actually swing trading versus day trading them. But either way, I mean, the futures are by far the best product to trade, in my opinion. I think that's in most people's opinion. Options, they have their advantages, but they definitely have a lot bigger disadvantages. So I think options are definitely something you want to, like, put into your trading style and whatnot. Especially on like big sell-offs, stuff like that, because you can make huge returns on options just by simply buying an option on a sell-off. But I think for your more longer-term sustainable gains, I think futures are by far the best thing that you can trade. So I don't think he's watching right now. I got my Discord pulled up on my phone and on the laptop as well, which, by the way, if you're not in Discord already, it's totally free to join. I got that down in the description box for you guys. We got over 100 members in there now, but I want to give a shout out here to Mike. Apparently he just profited $110 on the pullback, so good for him. That was a good little position that he did. I think Mike is trading 2 contracts at a time on the micro. I might be wrong. He might want to correct me. I know he trades usually 1 to 2 contracts at a time. If he made 110 on that move, let's see, 7 points. I know he's got enough money to trade like 5 contracts, but he got out on the pullback. Okay, so he might have been long then. He got out. He might have been long. So, because I was going to say, wait a minute. That was 7 points roughly. 7 points is $35. So, yeah, he's probably long is what I'm assuming, and he got out on this pullback. But still, $110, that's awesome stuff. I know, Luis, you said you were up like $100 or so on that MNQ, the micro NASDAQ. So y'all are having some good trades this morning, making me feel left out here. But I'll get my opportunity, kicking myself for my decisions that I've made over the last 12 hours. Started with one. I did a short, which I never short the market hardly ever, but I did a short. Lost about $20 on that position, which was my first loss of the week. That's part of the game, though. But started with that. Then I decided to step away from the laptop for a few hours and missed the big pop overnight to start the trading session. So we missed out on that. And then I woke up late this morning, where if I'd woke up when I usually wake up, which is around 6 a.m. Central Time, I would have caught this oversold condition. Perfect little support right around 29.61 that we bounced off of, and then obviously I would have been up over $100 with you guys this morning. But that's part of life, right? It doesn't ever work out like we exactly wanted to, but it's been a distasteful last 12 hours, 12 to 15 hours for me when it comes to trading. But we'll get back on it soon. Just going to wait for a little bit of signs of oversold on the short term charts, and then we'll go ahead and hop in and ride this puppy up to 3,000, because I strongly believe we're heading there at this point. Dow still up around 500 points. Let's see. Still in the MNQ. Yeah, London closes at what time? Like 12 p.m. Central? Like 1 p.m. Eastern, right? I might be wrong on that. Maybe it's 11. I forget the exact time. It should show here, actually, because I actually have a chart pulled up for that. So you can see, so it closes in an hour and 20 minutes. So that's 11 a.m. Central Time. And this is a good little chart, actually, to just have pulled up for everybody. Just Asian, European, U.S. It's missing the Australian, but Australian really isn't a big deal necessarily. I think they might open the same time. I might be wrong on that, but I know they open pretty close to one another. But the biggest ones that cause the biggest moves in the market are the Asian Open, European Open, and U.S. Open. And then when they close, of course, as well, we tend to get good pullbacks. This is just TraderClick.com live stock market zones. I don't have a sign in or anything with them. I just simply keep it pulled up to kind of remind me, okay, Asian markets opening here in the next 6 hours, Europeans closing, Just something good to kind of keep in the back of your mind, especially if you're trading futures, of course. So, but like I said, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream so far. If you have, make sure to hit that thumbs up. I greatly appreciate that. And if you're tuning in for the first time, we'd love to have you here. We do these live stock market tradings. We try to on a daily basis. So if you're into tuning into live stock market streams, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon. That way you'll be notified when we go live every morning or every evening whenever we decide to go live. But as of now, like I said, we're just waiting for a little bit more of a pullback here. We're bouncing off that 34 EMA pretty well. I want to see us break that. I think, honestly, what's happening is we're letting our SMA pull up a little bit. I think we're going to pull back ultimately, possibly to around 29.70, but I want to see how 29.77 holds. We got close to it a couple times. We bounced off of it, but I'm looking for a little bit of a breakdown. Take a look at our 5 and 15 minute. So our 5 minute is still overbought. 15 minutes going to be heavily overbought too, around 80 on the RSI. So, I mean, yeah, I think we still got plenty of room. We almost got a little bit of a double top here. Starting to descend on the highs, lower highs. Expect a lower low coming here before long. So, it's just all about patience at the end of the day. Like I said, I'm still kicking myself for not getting my lazy ass out of bed this morning on time. I usually get up around 6:30. If I had, I would have caught this dip and would have rode it up with you guys. Chances are I would have chickened out and got out right around 29.77 since I called that out as a resistance. But still, that would have been, what, a 16-point gain, roughly? 15? So I've been $75 of profit. So, but at this rate, I will say I think the market's probably going to go to 3,000 today. We might not, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking. We have smashed through every resistance. I keep mentioning this, but you can't mention it enough. We've literally just smashed through every resistance at this point. We're only 19 points away. What's 19 points at this point, right? So we'll see what happens. I think if we do get up to around 3,000 today, I would definitely expect a pretty modest pullback tomorrow. Probably something around 0.25% of a pullback, just because I mean, we're getting overbought literally on almost everything but the 1 year, 1 day at this point. And the weekly chart as well. I think the weekly just started to roll up a little bit. So, which obviously we got to go to ES to get a good or better look at that. We still have plenty of room to run though. So I do think new all-time highs are on deck here in the next week or so. Loud ass lawn mowing crew. I do think new all-time highs are on deck before long, but would not be surprised if we get some sort of a pullback tomorrow. But no, I will not be shorting, if anyone's wondering. Damn it, I forgot to bring down my charger again. See, and hopefully, I don't think we've had any issues, but hopefully our stream's doing all right. Like I said, if we ever have any issues, just let me know in the chat. Let me know if we ever have any audio or video issues, anything like that, and then I'll try to get them fixed if we ever have any issues. But sounds like we haven't had any issues so far. But man, this 34 EMA is holding up pretty damn well. But again, like everything, like resistances, like supports, you test something enough, eventually it's going to give. So I think it's going to end up giving here in the next half hour, maybe less. And then once it gives, we're probably going to pull down. It's just healthy at the end of the day. I mean, if you want to keep going higher, you got to pull back and test some supports. You can see we did the same thing overnight. I'm actually shocked that this came down as low as it did. It almost tested 29.50. And I literally almost submitted before I fell asleep last night a limit buy at 29.50. It wouldn't have got filled anyways because we only got down to, looks like 29.50, something like that. Let's see here. Yeah, 29.50 is what it looks like on the wick. So it still wouldn't have got filled, but that would have been funny if I could have submitted that order and then it somehow got filled. I would have woke up a happy man this morning. We're almost getting, wouldn't say a double bottom necessarily, but it's almost looking like it's trying to form somewhat of a, like it's bottoming right around that 29.80, 29.81. So I did not know this, but apparently Hurricane Dorian or whatever is tearing up part of North and South Carolina. Apparently there's over about 250,000 people without power, and tornadoes and stuff are going through there. So if any of you all are out there, hopefully everyone's doing all right out that way on the East Coast. I didn't think it was supposed to get that bad. It sounded like most of it was supposed to stay off of land, off of the East Coast, but hopefully everyone out there is doing all right, and prayers to anyone out there that's having issues. I know the Bahamas got just completely destroyed, it sounds like, so just thankful that it didn't take the course it looked like it could have, where it looked like it was heading straight towards the whole state of Florida at one point, or else that could have been really bad too. So we might be getting ready to have our little breakdown here, but again, patience, patience, patience. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, the Dow and S&P are up now for the 5 out of the last 6 days. I knew it was either 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6, but Yeah, so the Dow and S&P are up 5 out of the last 6 days now. Another indicator that we're probably due for somewhat of a little pullback either tomorrow or tomorrow's Friday, right? I've been off for a while. I'm like, my days are all mixed up now. But yeah, I would not be surprised tomorrow if we have a pullback of about 0.5%. Again, just a healthy little pullback. I mean, when we look at our short-term macro charts, I mean, everything's pointing towards it. Hey, we're pretty overextended now. We need somewhat of a pullback. For that macro pullback short-term, I think we'll pull back to that probably at 29.50 area. If we even get that much of a pullback, who knows? But depending on how high we go today, like for example, if we go to 3,000 as we all pretty much expect at this point, if we go up to 3,000 today, I think we'll only pull back to about say 29.60 to 29.70 tomorrow, possibly tomorrow or Monday. Of course, this is just taking an educated guess and just playing by the odds. Again, we're up 5 out of the last 6 days, due for somewhat of a little bit of a pullback, but again, it's not like I'm saying that's what's gonna happen. Obviously, trade based off of your own opinions, your own technical analysis at the end of the day. So we're finally below that 34 EMA. Our 12 and 8 are looking like they're trying to cross here. So it looks like we're going to get a little bit of selling here. Like I said, I want to see what happens right around that 29.76, 29.77 level. We break that, then I think we're going down to 29.70 to 29.72, somewhere in that area, which at that point will be pretty oversold, and I will probably go ahead and hop in, and then I plan on riding it up to somewhere around 3,000 at that point. But again, that's just the price target. If it looks like we're going to hit resistance at any point, then by all means I'll hop out. I would rather take some profit than gamble it and end up losing all of it. Let's see. Nothing bad in Los Angeles. Good stuff. Yeah, didn't LA, the LA area, I thought they had like some earthquakes or something recently, didn't they? Like 6 point something, or maybe it wasn't as big of a deal as I think, but I know I heard something about some earthquakes out that way a little while back. Let's see. Market's overextended. Yeah, I mean, it's overextended. Like I said, I think we're pulling back to at least around that 29.70 level, but honestly, I think at this rate, Tyler, we've crushed every resistance out there. We've crushed every resistance out there. The next resistance is around 3,000 to 3,012. So at this rate, I mean, we've still got room technically to run. I mean, RSI, we don't really see a huge pullback until the RSI on the full 4-hour chart reaches around 80 to 90. We're only at 73 right now. And of course, like our daily chart, we've got plenty of room to run still. For that reason, I think we're going up to 3,000 roughly. Again, that's just my price target when I decide to go long. But I do think short term today we will pull back to about 29.70. Who knows? Maybe even a little bit further, like 29.60s. But I think that's as low as we go today before popping. Because let's be real, days like today, this afternoon, they're going to pop that thing up. More than likely, unless if something comes out that is negative. But days like today, they love to just run the market up. I was playing last night. I said, man, are we going to have a 1,000-point day on the Dow? I don't think the Dow's going to go up 1,000, FYI. But I would not be surprised at this rate if it goes up about 750, which for the S&P, for us, that'd be around 3,000 on the S&P 500, about a 60-point move. So, but I do think overall, like I said, we're going to be up 5 out of the last 6 days. If we go up to 3,000 today, I do think the market pulls back to about 29.50, 29.60 tomorrow. Let's see. Just some small quakes. Yeah, I keep hearing about a big one too. But we keep hearing about the big one. I mean, we hear about it in the stock market. When's the big one going to happen? I hear when I used to live in Missouri, they were talking about the same thing. I guess there's some what they call them, tonic plates or something in the Memphis area that's supposed to cause some huge earthquake for the entire Midwest. I kept hearing about that for the longest when I lived up there, but it's just one of those things we gotta live with, right? So, jump was because U.S.-China talks, yeah. Honestly, this is from what I've understood. It sounds like they're supposed to have a phone meeting, like talk on the phone, sometime this month, and then it sounds like they're supposed to actually have a sit down and meet sometime in October. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that's kind of the concept of these trade talks. So honestly, what I think is going to happen, which could be super bullish for the market, is apparently it sounds like there's supposed to be some more tariffs possibly, or something to do with tariffs. More essentially are supposed to go into effect right around October 1, if I recall. And yeah, the tariffs kicked in September 1st. That's why we had the big sell-off on Monday or Tuesday, I guess. But what I think is going to happen is they're going to talk on the phone. Some of the tariffs and whatnot, like new ones are supposed to go into effect in October, etc., are going to get delayed. And I think that short term is going to push the market up. And then I think in October, one of two things is going to happen. Either we're not going to get some sort of agreement per se, but we might get more delays for the December ones, which could be somewhat bullish for the market as well. Or we could have some sort of blow up. Trump goes, you know what, fuck you, we're going to put more tariffs on, da-da-da-da-da. And then the market goes into a correction to end the year, kind of like we did at the end of last year. Might not be that negative, 20% or anything, but I mean, I honestly think, let's be real, the election's next year. Trump's not an idiot, or he wouldn't have become president as much as the left try to act like. He knows at the end of the day, the election's next year. It's a year from about a month or two from now, actually. So not too far away, 14 months away. By December, it's only going to be about 11 months away. So he knows a trade deal needs to get done. Recession fears and whatnot, slowly but surely, are rising. Like, if a trade deal gets done, the stock market's going to explode. We'll probably shoot up to like 3,100, something crazy, maybe even higher. I don't know. My gut's telling me that by the end of this year, some sort of trade deal gets done. It may not be the big deal that Trump and everyone keeps trying to preach on, but I definitely think something gets done here around the end of the year, which, if that's the case, you're going to see the stock market probably explode going into next year. Recession BS talks are going to go away, at least for a little bit. Maybe not CNBC, because as much as CNBC seems to hate Trump, they will keep preaching recession until something happens. I mean, hell, they just had a damn near communist on this morning. What was his name? Tom Sawyer, something like that. A billionaire communist, essentially. I mean, they hate Trump so bad they don't even try to hide it anymore. But that's a different topic for a different day. All I'll say is yeah, I think something gets done. I think September, like when they talk on the phone, we're going to have some sort of delay in any new tariffs. That's going to prop the market up. And then I think in October, one of two things will happen. They will either come to some sort of agreement on delaying the December tariffs, or we could have some big blow up where they each pretty much give each other the middle finger, and then we'll see the market go into a massive correction at that point, probably. Probably at least 10%. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true. But yeah, Democrats apologize, please. That's like trying to get a child to apologize for something that he doesn't feel sorry for. I mean, it's that specific party has gone so far off the island to the left that, I mean, Honestly, I don't even refer to it as the Democrat Party anymore. I refer to it as the Communist Party anymore. I mean, they've just gone batshit crazy. Um, yeah, Trump has been good for the market. Yeah, I mean, he has. I mean, like, let's just take a look. Last 3 years. So Trump got in right around here in 2016. So you can see right around the low was under Obama. 2028. Where are we at now? Almost 1,000 points higher. So market's up about 33% since Trump took office, which, I mean, I will say, I mean, that's kind of the average. I mean, what the S&P tends to go up on average somewhere around like 8 to 10%, something like that, right around 10% a year. When you look at the macro, like over the last, was it 50 years, something like that, the S&P averages about 10% a year. I might be wrong by 1 or 2%, but right around 8 to 11% a year, the market tends to go up. So, I mean, when you look at that, I mean, yeah, the market's up about, 33% since Trump took office. So that's dead on 11%. I mean, it is on the higher range for sure, but it's as expected. I will say. I will say this. I will bring up the fact that if it wasn't for this whole trade war stuff, I think the market would be at 3,500 plus by now. But Trump said this a long while back. Whenever all this started, he said we will have some short term, like what do you say? Essentially, like we're gonna have to sacrifice a little bit short term, but getting a trade deal done with China long term will cause our economy, cause the market to just explode. Which I believe that is true as well. I think if we can get even some sort of a compromise trade deal, then you're gonna see the market. I mean, I said 3,100. I mean, if we get a trade deal done, some sort of trade deal done by end of the year, early next year, I think the market will probably go up around 15%, 15 to 18% in 2020, which would be awesome for the election and awesome for those of us that trade and invest. Because that's what I don't get at the end of the day. Why would anyone in their right mind root for a president to fail? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like Obama. I didn't like hardly anything he stood for or anything like that, but I didn't sit there and go, oh man, I hope we just, like in 2011, 2012, I didn't just sit there and go, man, I hope the economy goes in some massive recession so then Obama gets voted out. I mean, that's just stupid. You're gonna root for your country's failure just to get a president out. I mean, that speaks volumes, in my opinion. I mean, it just, that kind of talk, like, who is it? Bill Maher, I think, is the guy who is all on that right now. He's the one that says, oh, I hope the economy rolls over. Well, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, I hope no one watches that son of a bitch anymore. I mean, that's just stupid. Like, by the way, can I stream on Twitch? Yeah, you brought that up before, actually. And I was looking into that recently. A few months ago, whenever I started streaming a lot more, again on YouTube, I was looking on Twitch. I don't know a whole lot about Twitch. I need to do a lot more, look into it a lot more. From what I see, there's let's see, show. I'm not censoring anything. YouTube. Yeah, I will say YouTube has. I will say that I do not like YouTube that much. They're becoming really bad when it comes to a lot of things, and hopefully something like Twitch or something will end up overtaking YouTube in the near future, but for now we got to stick with the tube. But here in the next year, I definitely might start experimenting with Twitch, because the only thing is from what I see, Twitch is a lot more of like gaming, not so much like stock market viewers and whatnot. Those guys, a lot of them are here on YouTube and whatnot. YouTube, Twitter, that kind of thing. So I'll have to experiment with it at some point in the future and see what happens. But it's definitely on my mind for sure. Yeah, because I remember you brought this up a while back whenever I was doing the live stock market streams. About a year ago, I think you had mentioned that. And I looked into it some, and then I got busy, and it just slipped my mind. But yeah, I need to take a look. So I think we're going to get this little bit of a pull up here. Let this SMA keep going up. But I do think here at some point today we're going to test this SMA. Where it's going to be at that point, who knows. But I think we're definitely going to pull back to it before going higher. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. I will say this. Let's go ahead and take a look here. You see we've had a lot of red. We just flashed our first green signal here. Probably going to get, like I said, somewhat of a little bit of a pull up here. But I think we're going to keep going down because when we look at our 5-minute, just now finally starting to cool off a little bit. 15-minute is probably still pretty oversold. It's actually just now getting ready to go slightly neutral. 30 minutes, same thing. 1 hour is probably still going to be heavily overbought. It's at 74 actually. I mean, that's not terrible. Let's see. We're actually down to 29.77. Let's see. They do have a stock market section. I feel like I'd have an audience of 100 viewers. See, and that's the thing too. I don't know what that correlates to when it comes to like viewers and subscribers. Like, I know it's a lot different than how YouTube works. Like, I mean, I make no money from YouTube. I mean, I'm just straight up with you guys. I mean, YouTube made it now. I think this happened like a year or so ago. Like, before I really started becoming super active on YouTube, they made it where like on YouTube you can't make any money essentially until you have like over 1,000 subscribers, something like that. And I mean, as of this morning, I'm right around 700. So I mean, I'm not making no money for doing this. I mean, I'm just doing it because like I like connecting with other stock market traders, getting other ideas from one another. That's why we have the Discord group chat, which there's a little bit of activity going on in there right now. But I mean, it's just all about like just community at the end of the day, more so. But yeah, YouTube, yeah, they YouTube is going to shit. I will say that. I mean, they don't want to pay anyone anything. They look to censor you as much as possible. It's getting a little bit ridiculous in all honesty. Like I said, I'm not necessarily doing it like for the money, but for them just to say, oh, well, you don't have 1,000 subscribers, so we're not going to pay you a fucking thing, but we're still going to put ads on your videos. It's like, really? But whatever. Check message in general. Let's see here. S&P 500 chart monthly. Let's see what we got here. Oh, the Finviz. Okay. Yeah, I've used Finviz before too. Let's undo this. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I cannot believe people were seriously selling throughout here. Like people complain about, oh, I lost all my retirement during the recession. Well, why was that? Did you sell at the bottom? Like, why the hell how did you lose all your retirement during the recession? Like, if you literally just loaded up down here, you've made so much money over the last 10 years. I mean, you made what, about 3 to 4x on your money if all you did was sit there and hold. That doesn't include dividends. That doesn't include, I mean, just so much. I mean, you at least, if you literally just go based off of the S&P 500, you have at the minimum 4x, 5x your money since 2009. Uh-oh. Getting near that time. But yeah, that's another thing. Growth under Obama. I mean, let's see. He got in right around what? Right around the lows, pretty close. I think he actually was in office. Yeah, when we hit the actual bottom. So I mean, we'll give him from the bottom. We'll give him the bottom until he got out, which was 2016. 2017. Let's see. So we'll give him from right around, what was the market at that time? Like 7 something, 780, 800. We'll just round up and say 800 roughly on S&P 500. He got out in 2017. So we'll call it right around 2000. So the market went up 2.5x. And the market so far in less than 4 years under Trump has went up about what we say, 33%, something like that. So I mean, it's been a big run too. I mean, and that's just from a percentage standpoint. If you look at the actual points, Obama gained what, roughly 1,200 points. Trump's gained about 1,000 in half the time. So yeah. So we have officially crossed on our EMAs, even though it looks very ugly and it's hard to see, but we have crossed now on the EMAs. Like I said, we're probably going to get somewhat of a little pull up here. Would not be surprised. But I think we continue to pull back. Like I said, giving us some time for this SMA to pull up. We'll probably pull back to our SMA, maybe even go slightly below it, and then we'll probably pull back up. And like I said, I still expect us to go up upwards of 3,000 today. But like I said, I'm just waiting. Yeah, Obama bailed the banks out and GM and all that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Trump's obsessed with the stock market. I mean, that's what he's really, I mean, ever since he's gotten in office, that's what he's been consistent on, is just the stock market, stock market, stock market. Which, I mean, makes sense. Because a lot of times we determine ultimately how good or not good a president was based on the stock market. If the stock market went into a recession under you, you're seen as one of the worst presidents ever, which a lot of times it's not even your fault. But if the economy booms under you and the stock market booms under you, then you're seen as one of the best presidents of all time. Which, in most cases, when it comes to the stock market, the president doesn't play a huge role in it. But I will say Trump has played, at least in my lifetime. I mean, I've only lived through now 3 or 4 presidents. But I will say Trump has been the most involved. I didn't even know I was still on the ES. I thought I was on micro. I will say Trump has been the most involved president in the stock market that I've seen in my lifetime. Yeah. But it looks like my battery, I thought I'd brought my charger down, but apparently I left it upstairs. Looks like my battery's going down. Like I said, I'm not in any position right now. I'm going to wait for a bigger pullback. Like I said, I want to see some signs of oversold on my RSI. Every time I buy when the RSI is oversold, I make a little bit of money, even if it's only 4 or 5 points. But I'm waiting on that. When that happens, I'll hop in. My target is minimum 29.90 today. I would like to see 3,000, but we'll see what happens overall. Market's kind of stalled out here a little bit. I think we're probably going to slowly kind of trickle down until after lunch hour. And then I think the afternoon session is where our volume is going to pick back up, and we'll probably retest new highs of the day, possibly. But we'll see what happens overall. Let's see. Heard Trump wants to shut down the Fed. That would not be a surprise. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I mean, we're still up about $140 on the Micro E-mini futures so far this week. Again, it's not a lot. We're only trading one contract at a time, though, keep in mind. So, I mean, that's not bad at all, in my opinion. And like I said, you just have to keep everything in perspective, guys. If you're up $140 on the Micro E-mini, that's equivalent to being up $1,400 on the E-mini. And that's just since Sunday night. So I could have had more, but I'm still happy overall that I'm up overall on the week, especially after pretty much ending break even last week. My first week ended up $1 last week, and we're up 143, something like that so far this week. Looking to enter a trade sometime today, and I'll keep you guys updated in Discord, of course. Like I said, if you're not in there, that link's down in the description box to join that. totally free. I don't charge for anything on this channel, of course. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below and hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video for you guys. I'm going to try to upload a video here probably sometime this weekend. I'm thinking Saturday, hopefully, for you guys, just about like Tasty Works and whatnot. But yeah, and if you enjoyed the stream, definitely make sure to hit that like button. I greatly appreciate that. Like I said, hopefully the stream has been doing good and haven't had any technical issues or anything like that. But hopefully you guys are out there making some money. Sounds like a lot of you are making money while I'm sitting with my hands behind my back right now, just waiting for a good opportunity. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream or in the video that I upload. But until then, take it easy, guys.